3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular. Mystery reading number 1181. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting the subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. And if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome, and thank you very much for your support, as well as your presence during this reading. So I do want to start this reading off by encouraging you to have trust and to have faith. Trust your intuition, your instincts, and have faith in your strength and what is possible for you. And I wanted to start this reading off with those messages because I saw the number 111 just before I started talking. 1 second. Maybe some noise in your life that is getting a little too loud or is distracting. And it can be distracting in a way that is frustrating as well. And this noise, it can be literal or it could be figurative. And I really feel like you're being encouraged to drown out the noise. And I just saw the number 222, which could be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation on your mind right now. It can also be a message for you to be mindful about your choices. Make sure you are protecting yourself, your peace, your time, your energy, your resources, and investing in yourself wisely. This almost feels like a message is coming through to be wise about what you choose to focus on. What you do have control over, what you don't have control over. What's good, what's bad, you know? It feels like your mindset or your perspective could potentially hold you back or distract you in some way. But that message doesn't have to resonate for everybody. Let's go ahead and get into interpreting the number 1181. So, the number 1, as we kind of already established, is about having trust and faith. Seeing 111 and then 3 ones. Maybe you're feeling called to use your voice or to express yourself or to take an opportunity to heal and grow or to be committed to your healing and your personal and spiritual growth. I mean, it kind of does feel like this reading is heavy on the trust and the faith. And interestingly, whenever I said the word heavy, I felt connected to the Italian word pesante, which means heavy. So is there something heavy that you are dealing with, that you're feeling, that needs to be addressed? Do you feel like you need a breath of fresh air or just room to breathe? What does feel suffocating here. For somebody, I think, as I've already mentioned, it could be your own mindset or your own perspective, trapping yourself instead of figuring out where the freedom is, the exit lanes are, the way out is. I personally believe that there is always a way out. And sometimes we can't see the way out because we're too afraid of the opportunity that will get us out. The number 8 is about loss and trusting that whatever is lost will be replaced. So this could signify that there is a significant change or transition that you are currently going through. Wow, I just saw the number 555 on the timer, which is all about change, and transforming as a person. Yeah. Are you feeling a little bit hopeless or doubtful about moving on from something or someone? Maybe what's suffocating yourself is not allowing yourself to have hope, to move on. You could feel stubborn or resistant, but I don't think it's really worth it. I don't think it's really worth fighting what we can't control and what we can't change, and it's more worth focusing on what we can control, what we can change, what we can do, where we can breathe, you know? It really does feel like there's a huge focus here on perspective. Adding up these numbers, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10, and 10 plus 1 is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And I think we already talked about the number 222 and how that could be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation, and to be wise with your choices. Maybe the wise thing to do here isn't to stick around. And, you know, the wise thing to do isn't always the easy thing to do. In fact, I feel like it's often not. And that in of itself can be frustrating. And I also encourage you to really ask yourself where the stubbornness or the resistance is coming from. The confusion, the anger. Take this as an opportunity to understand yourself, to heal, and to have a stronger relationship with yourself, because you deserve not only freedom, but also to know who you really are and what you really deserve. Before getting into the cards, I just want to remind you there's a lot of encouragement here, maybe even a push here, for you to have trust and faith in yourself, the universe, a certain person, a certain situation, wherever you need more trust and more faith, and not to feel secure and safe, but to feel confident. You know? On the table, I have the Prism Visions Tarot, and these are just index cards that I made myself. I am going to start off with drawing out a couple of these tarot cards to really get more clarity into what is going on here and what messages you need. Interesting. This is the Illumination card. It is a card unique to this Prism Visions Tarot deck. And I think what's interesting about this reading is there's a lot of push here for you to have trust, to have faith, to pay attention to something, but it doesn't feel as dramatic as it seems. Do you feel that things are more dramatic, more scary? Or Someone here could be feeling consumed or very, very distracted by fear, and that means that there's a knock coming from within you. And you need to open that door and talk to yourself. Communicate with yourself, have healthy boundaries with yourself, have a healthy relationship with yourself. This illumination card is really calling for you to pay attention, to wake up to the truth, whatever that means. Truth of who you are, a certain person, a certain situation. Feels like it's time to wake up. And for so many reasons, but more relevantly to this reading, to free yourself. Because you deserve to feel free and at peace. And believing that that's not possible for you is just an unfair limitation that you're putting on yourself, a dishonest limitation. I do want you to know that whatever intense negative feelings you're feeling, frustration, sadness, fear, of course, whatever it is, it means something. You feel that way for a reason. And it needs to be understood. It needs your attention, your effort, your trust, your faith, your time. It needs you. You need you right now. The second card I have is the Two of Swords. This is actually making me feel connected to the Two of Wands. Up here in the corner we have the symbol of the moon, zodiac sign of Libra, as well as that symbol is for the element of air. When I was feeling connected to the Two of Wands, that card is about planning, preparing, like you've been presented with this awesome opportunity that you're passionate about, that you're excited about. It feels like things are stuck in planning phase. Things just feel stuck, to put it in the most vague terms. I find it very interesting. We have another two. A significant relationship or situation, and need here to really look at your options and be honest with yourself whenever you choose one. Or even just while you're browsing, trying to figure out what to do, what plans you're trying to make, how you're trying to prepare, or how you're trying to move on and find something better, whatever works for your situation or your scenario. The Two of Swords really does highlight here a sense of indecision. It's a difficult decision. And this could be choosing between people, choosing between this perspective or that perspective, that belief, this belief. It could be very deep or it could be very surface level. It really just depends. But given that this is a swords card and swords are related to your thoughts, at the very least, I do think that there's a stalemate internally. Like you're not making a choice when it comes to how you're going to process something. That's emotional. It could even be spiritual too. I just saw a sign of trust. Everything happens for a reason with the number 543 on the timer. So that feels like extra confirmation that whatever you need to process, there is a spiritual angle to it. There could be anger here. And you deserve to know whatever that spiritual truth is, whatever that spiritual significance is. I feel like this is a pretty good opportunity to remind you that whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, it's bigger than you, because we're all so connected, so systematic, really, when you think about how civilizations and governments work and stuff like that. How you show up in this world for yourself, most importantly, but also those around you, matters so much. It matters because you deserve to be happy and at peace and to feel safe and secure, but we also all deserve that collectively. The only way we can provide that for each other is first providing it for ourselves. So how can you find peace, security, and stability right now in your own life? To be part of a greater movement, a greater fight for a world that isn't so dark and confusing. This illumination card is really reminding me how there's something to wake up to here, both practically and definitely spiritually. And waking up or not is really just a matter of how much effort you're willing to put into yourself right now, and your healing. So let's get this index card now to start wrapping up this reading for you. I have, honestly, a really good card that is song lyrics that has been coming up in readings lately. The song lyrics are from the song Bloodshot by Sam Tinnez, Tinnez, and the lyrics say, "Focus on my insides, doctor says I'm alright. Gotta keep it locked tight if I'm gonna survive." This whole focus on my insides part, I feel like it applies here too, but not in such a medical way. You know? The focus really needs to be inward. And I want you to know that it's okay to think differently from the system, other people, people who claim to be experts. It's okay to think for yourself and to have your own opinion. And maybe you do feel like you have to keep things locked tight and, just pushed down deep within you to survive, to feel safe. And that's not fair to you. And it's not fair to people around you either. You deserve to know how you feel. And you deserve to have an outlet. And to be surrounded by people who support you and listen to you and want to hear what you have to say, what you are going through. Overall, this reading has really, really, really encouraged you to have trust and faith. And maybe there's something here from the past that felt like it broke your trust or your faith. And maybe that's something you want to revisit and figure out what happened there. And make sure you're not blaming the universe for things that are related to human free will. That's something I've been learning that has been very eye-opening for me. Because we always want to be like, oh, well, if God is real, if the universe is listening, why do bad things happen? Because humans do bad things. That's why bad things happen. And you don't deserve to punish yourself and to rob yourself of your own faith because of other people and their unwillingness to do better, And I don't think that you should not do better just because other people aren't doing better. I don't think that you should be part of the problem, There's healthier and better ways to process what you're going through. And it doesn't have to be confusing, overwhelming, even violent. It doesn't have to be that way. And I find it interesting that there was a pretty strong call here in this reading to be mindful about your decisions. Be mindful of how you're dealing with what you're going through right now. Find a healthy way to deal with this. And there is a way, there's an answer for you out there. You just have to be willing to put in the time and the effort to find it, knowing that you deserve that clarity, that outlet. You deserve to be heard in whatever way works for you and really just makes you feel cared for, and truly at peace. I just saw 111 again. More encouragement there to have trust and to have faith. As I was talking about before, maybe there was something from the past that you feel like broke that within you, but I don't like to say that people are broken. But maybe you feel like there's something here to fix or address. And I like to say that you can't fix a problem until you understand it. So, give yourself some time to think. There could have been some sort of loss here that that has been very difficult, or a change that happened even if it was years ago. And you deserve peace, and to attract whatever that peace is going to bring you in this life. Be wise about your choices, especially if you're thinking of a specific person or situation right now. Be wise, pay attention, and address the internal conflict. Focus on the inside, and don't be afraid to think for yourself, really, and learn how to not just survive, but also thrive. You deserve to do more than just survive. You deserve more, and the only person who will give that to you is you.